You say you want change, that you're waiting for God to do something in your life. But you don't even realize you're vibrating scarcity, fear, anger, every single day. You wake up complaining, go to bed frustrated, spend your days comparing, sabotaging, hiding behind excuses you call faith. Do you really believe the universe, God, any divine force is going to bless you while you vibrate like life is a punishment? This video isn't about religion, it's about frequency, vibration, about what you're broadcasting right now, even in silence. You can kneel, pray, cry out to heaven. But if what's inside you is screaming something else, if your energy is pure desperation, lack and misery, you won't hear anything back. Because you're not tuned in to what you're trying to receive. It's like trying to tune into a station of peace, while your mind is spinning the dial toward chaos. Like expecting light, while feeding the dark. Like asking for blessings, while living like you're not worthy of them. People love to say, God may be late, but he never fails. But no one talks about the part where you fail. Fail to notice that what you vibrate is what you validate. You cry out for love, but you vibrate fear of abandonment. You ask for money, but you vibrate guilt for wanting more. You pray for a new life, but you vibrate nostalgia for a past that wasn't even that great. You want miracles, but you can't handle the discomfort that change brings. You ask the divine for answers, but your ears are plugged with the noise of your own ego. You want transformation, but refuse to step out of the victim energy, waiting for God to act while you stay exactly where you are. And it's no use posting gratitude all over your socials if you're still vibrating scarcity in your heart. You can memorize every verse, every mantra, every self-help quote. But if your vibration doesn't shift, nothing shifts. Because what moves the invisible is what you vibrate, not what you say. And yes, this is the part no one tells you. Faith that doesn't lead to action becomes anesthesia. Prayer without inner change is just noise. And asking without aligned energy is just another way of avoiding responsibility. You think God is silent. But maybe you're just screaming at the wrong soul. Because as long as you're vibrating, I'm not enough, God will keep reflecting that back to you. Because God isn't just in the sky, He's in you. And He responds to your frequency. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you vibrate. And if you're vibrating fear, lack, and doubt, that's exactly what's coming your way. Because God responds not to what you say, but to what you radiate. So what do? How do you shift your vibration when it's already become your normal? How do you transform a frequency that's buried in everything? Your gaze, your body, the way you breathe, the words you say without even realizing. How do you get God to hear you and act in your life? Here's the hard truth. You're going to have to kill a part of yourself. The part that feeds on drama. The part that finds comfort in complaining. The part that clings to the belief that life is always supposed to be hard. Because as long as that part of you is alive, you'll keep sabotaging everything trying to be born inside you. Your vibration shifts when you finally choose to break from that version of yourself addicted to pain. When you stop using suffering as an identity. When you consciously choose to stop repeating the same old story. I'm unlucky. Nothing works out for me. No one helps me. You know why? Because those aren't just words. They're declarations. Every time you repeat them, you're signing an energetic contract with failure. You're saying to God, this is my truth. And God will deliver accordingly. Because vibration doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you accept as truth. And since God is in everything, including you, when you shift your frequency, your prayers start to get heard. So the first step is this. Break the truths that are limiting you. Kill off the old versions of you that keep repeating, it's impossible, it won't work, God doesn't hear me. And when you do that, when you have the courage to silence that inner voice of sabotage, a new frequency begins to emerge. It's not easy. Your body will resist. Your mind will sabotage you. Your habits will try to drag you back. Because every vibration shift comes with withdrawal. Withdrawal from complaining. Withdrawal from guilt, withdrawal from playing small. You've got to walk through that withdrawal, with presence, with awareness, with faith, not the kind that waits, but the kind that acts, the kind that aligns, the kind that builds a new frequency, even without any guarantees. Because in the beginning, you won't feel a thing. It'll feel fake. It'll feel like a lie. You'll wake up, try to think positive, try to believe, but the old frequency will still be lurking, hiding between the lines of your thoughts. And right there, you'll have two choices. You either go back to who you were, or you hold the new frequency until it becomes your truth. And that's when God moves, not when you collapse, but when you resist your old self, when you hold your new energy even when nothing's changing yet, when you refuse to go back to what once broke you. Because that's the real spiritual sacrifice, killing the old self so the new one can rise. And when you finally hold that new frequency, things begin to happen, not in some magical explosive way, but quietly, subtly, deeply. Suddenly people start disappearing. Projects that once felt promising fall apart. Things that used to excite you stop making sense. And yeah, that's scary. Because the new frequency starts by destroying everything that was built on the old one. It's the universe. It's God clearing the space, removing everything that no longer aligns with who you're becoming. And then you enter what most people call chaos. But it's not chaos. It's alignment. It's God moving divinely through your life to transform and bless. You only feel like you're losing everything because you don't realize you're being set free. You think God is taking things away, when really He's moving, glorifying, and transforming. He's replacing what was built on fear with something that can only exist in a higher frequency. And that transition hurts, because watching things leave your life hurts. But you know what hurts even more? Staying stuck in a vibration that was slowly killing you, just because you were too afraid to face the empty space it left behind. And then comes the silence. God's infamous silence. That stretch where nothing seems to happen. You've changed, done your part, held the new energy, and still, nothing manifests. The temptation is to go back, to vibrate fear again, to settle for less, to beg again, out of desperation. But this is where you have to hold on. Because that silence, it's the final test. It's the desert before arrival. The space between who you were and who you're about to become. And if you make it through, if you keep showing up in faith, even when the outside world shows nothing, if you keep vibrating higher even when it feels like nothing's changing, then you change. For real. And that's when God begins to respond. Not with thunder, but with synchronicities, with unexpected encounters, with doors opening without you pushing, with ideas that come out of nowhere, with feelings you've never had before, as if for the first time you're finally at peace, even without having it all. That's the beginning of manifestation, not of what you asked for, but of what you finally became strong enough to hold. Because God doesn't give you what you desire. He gives you what you can sustain in frequency. And when your vibration changes, you don't just start receiving new things. You stop tolerating what you used to call normal. You no longer accept shallow relationships. You no longer accept jobs that kill your soul. You no longer accept the limited version of yourself. And that is the real miracle. Not something that comes from outside to save you, but something that rises from within, explodes, and transforms everything around you. That's the power of God working deeply in your life. God fully connected to you, guiding you toward what's truly extraordinary. So now that you've seen all of this, here's the real question. Are you willing to pay the price of a higher vibration? Because it's going to cost you everything you used to be. It'll cost you your old identity. It'll cost you relationships that only worked because you were vibrating scarcity, insecurity, submission. It'll cost you habits, emotional addictions, generational patterns. It'll even cost you your role as the victim, the one you've carried for years, maybe even proudly. maybe even as armor. But it will also give you everything you said you wanted, and more. It will give you clarity. It will give you direction. It will give you courage. It will give you connections you didn't even know existed. It will give you a version of yourself you've never met, but one that will look in the mirror and say, "Now, you're finally you." But none of this will happen if you keep waiting for God to do it all for you. Yes, God moves, but not like magic. He moves through you. He moves in the details. Remember? He's in everything. And this is what no one tells you. Faith isn't waiting. It's a vibrational decision, a daily choice, a silent pact with your higher self, even when it still feels out of reach, even when no one sees it, even when everything around you says otherwise. Because God doesn't need the world to validate you. He just needs you to finally believe, not with your words, but with your energy, your presence, your surrender. That's real faith, the kind that comes from the heart, the kind that radiates, the kind that transforms. And maybe, just maybe, everything you've been asking for your whole life is already on its way. But it hasn't reached you yet, because you're still vibrating like someone who doesn't deserve it. You're still vibrating like someone who doesn't believe. You're still vibrating like someone who's afraid to lose, and so you never allow yourself to receive. So now it's on you. You can close this video and go back to how you've always been. Saying you believe, but vibrating like you doubt. Begging for miracles, but feeding patterns that block them. Calling out to God, while keeping the doors of your soul locked tight. Or, you can decide, right now. Breathe deep. Close your eyes. And say, not with words, but with your whole being, I'm ready. I vibrate like someone who's worthy. I vibrate like someone who's already received. I vibrate like someone who's aligned with the presence of God within me. And when that happens, you won't have to chase your blessings anymore. They'll start chasing you. Because the right vibration opens every door, even the ones in heaven. This is mental rebellion. This isn't a feel-good message. This is divine disruption. It's not about motivation. It's about awakening. Not about waiting, but finally vibrating like someone who's ready.